I meant to set your exit slip up yesterday so where you could see whether or not you got the right answer, and if you got it wrong, see the correct answer, but I forgot to set it up that way. So let's go ahead and just look at this from yesterday, which, by the way, the majority of you did get correct. So that's a good sign that we're moving in the right direction. But still, just to get the day started, go ahead and review here. So we'll distribute this 1/2, which will give me a 3b minus 2, and your 10 is going to come down. And then you're going to add 2 to both sides. That leaves you with 3b is equal to 12. Then divide by 3 on both sides, which would leave you with b is equal to 4. And so good job on the exit slip from yesterday. Like I said, the majority of you did get it correct. Whether or not you got it correct, though, this is one of those deals where you get credit for just participation. And so if you submitted the exit slip, you got a 100 for it. All right, so let's go ahead and get our equation review sheet out and get ready to go over that. So if you need to, go ahead and pause the video while we get all that stuff out, pencil, calculator, and get ready to review for the test. All right, this is number 1 on your equation review sheet, and this is just your basic 2-step equation. You only have one variable here. Okay, so I want to isolate the variable term by moving the minus 6 away from it. I do this by adding 6 to both sides here. That's going to go away, and my 3m is going to come down on the left. 9 plus 6 gives me 15 on the right. Now I want to get a coefficient of 1 on my variable m, so I'm going to divide to undo the multiplication. 3 divided by 3 gives me that coefficient of 1 that I wanted. 15 divided by 3 gives me m is equal to 5. And for number 2, you see you do have some distribution that needs to be done here. So as always, that's first order of business. When you see parentheses, go ahead and distribute before anything else. That gives me 2 times q is 2q. 2 times negative 7 is a minus 14. Equal sign stays on the line. 16 comes down. And now I'm back to the same type problem I had in number 1, just a basic 2-step equation. So I want to isolate the variable by adding 14 to both sides here. And so that cancels. Your 2q is going to come down. Equal sign stays on the line. 16 and 14 is 30. And again, to undo this multiplication, I want to divide by 2 on both sides. And so that's going to cancel and leave me with 1q. 30 divided by 2 is equal to 15. Okay, we've talked several times before about when you have the variable on both sides of the equation, you want to be careful to not cancel everything out from one side. And that's kind of always, not just when you have variables on both sides, but since I only have this one term on the left, then I'm going to leave that alone. Okay, I don't want to do anything with that because I don't want to get everything I don't want to get rid of everything on one side of the equation. So I go to the other side to get rid of the variable term, okay, because I have to get the variable on one side or the other. In this case, I want to do that by subtracting 12m from both sides. So it's going to cancel the variable on the right side of the equation and leave me with the constant 18. 14 minus 12 leaves me with 2m on the left side of the equation. Now I'm left with a 1-step equation. I need to undo this multiplication by dividing by the coefficient. The 2's cancel and leave me with 1m. 18 divided by 2 is equal to 9. All right, first thing I see that needs to be done here is I need to distribute this 4 into my parentheses there. 4 times x gives me 4x. 4 times 3 gives me 12. Equal sign stays on the line. Variable comes down. Okay, at this point, now I'm looking at a problem very similar to number 3, where you've got the variable on the left and the right. I need to isolate it to one side or the other. But I only have one term over here on the right side, so I'm going to leave that alone, and I'm going to move the 4x instead of moving the x. And so I do that by subtracting that on both sides. This is going to cancel. Your 12 comes down on the left. Equal sign stays on the line. 1x minus 4x gives me negative 3x. And then to undo this multiplication and get a coefficient of 1 on the variable, I'm going to divide by negative 3 on both sides. And that's going to leave me with x is equal to negative 4. Okay? And if you want, you can leave it this way. Or you can flip it back around and have the variable on the left side. Either way is fine with me. Okay, number 5 is very similar to number 3 in that I've got the variable on both sides. I only have one term over here, so I'm going to leave that alone. Come to the left side and get rid of the variable over here by adding h to both sides. Okay, so that's going to cancel, leaves me with 88 on the left. 7 plus 1h is 8h. And then to undo my multiplication, I want to divide by the coefficient. That's going to cancel and leave me with h is equal to 11.